Polyrhythm. Have you ever heard of that saying, polyrhythm? Now, polyrhythm is a very fascinating way to notate rhythm for music. It's actually gets pretty big and hectic in the Romantic period, with like Brahms composing polyrhythm, Robert Schumann composing polyrhythm. Basically, the simple way I can explain a polyrhythm to you is it's triplets, pretty much against, semiquavers. You can have triplets against quavers. You can have triplets against crotchets. You can have quavers against crotchets. That's what a polyrhythm is. And what happens, to be able to play polyrhythms as a musician, you need to keep a sense of pulse going for you. Pulse in the music is very, very important. You need to be able to count those rhythms. You need to be able to concentrate on those rhythms. Because, say for a composer like Brahms, where he's composing music that is never ever on the beat, it's always jumping around. If you're playing the solo part, you really need to be able to count that rhythm. You need to trust yourself to count that polyrhythm, because that's what polyrhythms are. He's writing polyrhythms to an advanced degree. You can have even crotchet triplets against crotchets, which is, getting into the advanced stage of polyrhythm. It's pretty common. I mean, it's Scriabin even uses polyrhythm as well to compose music, because he's a 20th century composer and he's still using polyrhythms. Polyrhythms, there's so much you can do with polyrhythms. There's even African polyrhythms out there. There's polyrhythms in jazz as well. And the question is, what is a polyrhythm in music? Well, it's also called a cross rhythm, with the combination of contrasting rhythms in a musical composition, with rhythmic conflicts, cross rhythms that may occur with a single meter. So as I said, this is the American way of saying music notes, 2/8 notes against triplet eighths, or may be reinforced by simultaneous combinations of conflict meters. So it's always changing meter all the time. So that's the way of polyrhythm is it can go to sub-Saharan African music. It's even in Western art music. It's a lot of African Ghana music's using polyrhythm, and you'll hear the difference. It's not like your traditional classical or Baroque rhythm or Renaissance rhythm. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe. Leave your comments down below. Hit the like. Share it on social media. Let me know what you think of polyrhythms.